Hello, this is Brian Choi, Managing Partner and CEO of the Food Institute. We are here at Grocery Shop 2025. I'm here with 𝗂𝗶𝗱𝗲𝗁, SVP of AD Retail Media. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So for those that don't know you, can you explain your title and what you do at Ahold?
Yeah, so I lead our retail media practice for the U.S. as well as our digital merchandising team and our digital enterprise marketing team, because as we think about the future and think about retail media, it's bigger than just the ads that we serve. It's really about putting the customer at the center and creating a customer engagement team. And so that goes all the way from the digital shelf and how consumers show up on site to our digital marketing team and how we drive customer acquisition type of funnel, and then retail media obviously capitalizing on the great customer experience.
It sounds amazing. So talk to us a little bit about this interest and why the investment in retail media for your company.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it started out as a proposition to say, how do we continue deliver and build out an ads business, almost like behave like a media publisher, if you will, because we had saw the value and obviously the revenue that others were able to generate, like an Amazon and a Walmart had been in it much earlier. And so that was our starting point. But as I just said, like for us, that was a few years ago when we set the strategy 3.5, 4 years ago, that this is what we wanted to get into this business and make the investments. But now as we've evolved, we see it much more than that. We really see it about this concept of being able to leverage the capabilities that we have to engage with the consumer differently. Not only the consumer of today, but really thinking about that consumer of tomorrow. And so what we believe is making the investments in the retail media capabilities, the MarTech, ad tech, as well as our loyalty technology, all come together in a symbiotic relationship to really deliver that best-in-class customer experience that then, great, we can capitalize on that with some really compelling ads, with really compelling content that drives conversion. Ultimately, what we want to do is drive more sales and volume.
Let's dive deeper into each of the different elements of retail media, and maybe explain what the importance of it and how it really drives that conversion that you just spoke about.
We actually think about retail media as a full funnel type of approach. So we absolutely know that we get held accountable to conversion. As I said before, like we're a grocery retailer, and what we need to drive is market share. No different than our CPGs. They're looking at market share. They're looking at driving volume and selling more cases. We want to do the same thing. Retail media is a way to do that because we can leverage our first-party data. We can get really precise in reaching consumers when they're at that point of decision-making, whether that's in-store or online. We have some really cool capabilities to do that. Everything from the traditional things you would expect, on-site display, sponsored search. We actually are expanding in-store, like many others that you probably know of are doing that right now. But I've said in the past, that's what's old is new again, but we're putting a new spin on it. We're calling it the Connected Store Initiative, and digital screens is a component of it, but it's not the only component. It's how do we leverage our mobile app in order to get consumers more digitally engaged? How do we activate at the shelf, leveraging things like QR codes and physical signage to drive folks to sign up for the app or to load coupons to their card or just digitally engage with us? Because as you know, when the consumer is digitally engaged with your brand, they're more loyal, their lifetime value is better. And so we're looking at retail media and those capabilities at lower funnel to help us do that, drive that engagement, obviously drive conversion and then return for our advertisers. But also when you think about the top of the funnel, like I said, we see it bigger than just the lower funnel. We see it full funnel. You got to drive customers. There's so much leakage and there's not as much brand loyalty as there used to be and the CPG brands as well. And so whether it's our great local brands that we support or if it's the CPG brands, we believe in leveraging those upper funnel tactics like social media, like off-site display, like CTV to do customer acquisition and leveraging. And what we see on the horizon is leveraging both enterprise marketing as well as our traditional retail media capabilities to bring those together, like I said before, and build out a best-in-class customer experience, driving them all the way through the customer funnel, leveraging customer journey maps to reach them with particular channels that they like to engage with.
It seems like that a lot of that engagement is for with that younger demographic. Can you explain, like, do most of your customers are they going online? Are they being activated in store? Like, tell us a little bit about the
I mean, 90% of our sales still happen in store. That's where they still activate, at least converting, I should say. 32 to 33% of our consumers are digitally engaged with us. So that means that they're coming to our digital properties to either load coupons, build a shopping list, or do something. What we know in research that we've seen is 60% of Gen Alphas, though, are already influencing the basket. So they're sometimes they're doing that in store, but most of the time they're doing that through the shopping list or through the app. They're getting on and they're adding things to mom and dad's list. And so while we can't yet market to them, what we're thinking about is like, okay, well, they're digitally engaged. They're much more digitally engaged than the boomer generation or others. And so like, how are we poised and positioned to make sure that we can capture them while they're influencing? And then once they enter the shopping sector, we can really, really go at them really hard. So.
You know, a lot of the retailers that I speak to talk to me some of the about the cost of the investment when it comes to it. So, as you and I know, it's a huge amount.
Absolutely.
And so determining that ROI is absolutely key. How does Ahold, make sure that the ROI is there, with the digital displays and all that you have going on in store? Because it is a hefty price.
It's a hefty price, but I would say, and I would say this to any retailer that's looking at getting into the retail media business, is that you can't go halfway in and halfway out, because that won't be acceptable to the advertisers. So you either got to be fully all in and committed, and that, as you said, takes a huge investment on your part, whether it's human resources, capital resources for technology, hardware, software, all the things that you need to be, like you're talking about going in store as an example. And for us, we're a very large global organization, so we've been able to leverage learnings and things that our European counterparts, where digital screens in stores been mature for 7 or 8 years. And so we were able to take learnings from them, understand the business case, the capital investment that would be required, then how to take that to market and build the demand, and then how do you measure that? Because ultimately that's what retail media's secret sauce is, right? How do we leverage data to measure? And so it's a cross-functional and quite honestly a cross-global effort for us as we look at the in-store space to say, how can we leverage these things? What's the actual capital investment required? What's the return that you need to get out of that in order to, whether it's through enterprise marketing, by the way, because it's not just retail media content that we're putting on these screens. We're putting marketing content on there, shopper marketing content, or loyalty sign-up content, or app sign-up content, which has value in itself outside of just the ad revenue that we would earn off of it.
So for brands that want to partner with you, so talk to us a little bit of what that process is like for a Pepsi or a Nestle. How do they engage with you and your team?
Well, it's funny. So we do, like many, we do upfronts every year. We go about June, July timeframe. We're doing our upfronts for the upcoming cycle of 2026. So we're knee deep in all of that. We're actually on the tail end of it. But for us, we see it as a joint engagement with ourselves and the merchants. When I say ourselves, I mean the retail media team and the digital shelf team. We're sitting with the merchants and the category teams to say no commercial plan is complete unless it has retail media as a component of that commercial activation. Again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning. If you put the customer at the center and say, how do I want to connect with that customer? How do I want to talk to the consumer, engage with them, whether it's price, promotion, displays in store, or retail media amplification? That's what the customer needs to see. They need to feel it, the surround sound, not inconsistent messaging, knee-jerk content. Like, it all needs to sing for them across the channels and in store. The best way to do that is when a CPG engages with us on this annual upfront process that we have. We have the merchant there. We're talking about the JBP. We're talking about the commercial plan. What's their first half tentpole events? What's their innovation pipeline look like? And how are we building a holistic commercial activation across media, marketing, and merchandising activities?
It's super interesting. Like, advertising, as you know, has completely shifted from the traditional, and now with this next generation of technology and displays, it's really amazing to see that level of innovation. Are you finding that as you look out to 2026 and 2027, are we going to see even more investment and less in the traditional forms? Or talk to us a little bit about that evolution and that shift towards retail media.
Yeah, I believe we will. I think you'll continue as the retail media networks get more mature. I do think we'll see some consolidation. We'll see how that plays out, but I do believe we will continue to see CPGs making shifts into retail media networks as long as the retail media networks continue to prove their worth and prove the value. My belief is the more integrated you can make it with the overall customer experience and the commercial plan, that also helps the value, because if I'm running ads when they're launching innovation, guess what? It's going to have a better return if I'm just running ads. And if I can put an in-store display with it, or a digital screen in-store, and I can run search, or I can run an on-site display, that's going to generate a better return than just running on-site display in a silo. So the more we can connect the channels for the customer, connect it to the business and the plans and the JBPs, the better the returns. And then that's going to, as we all know, dollars follow growth. If you're driving growth and you're growing market share and you're selling more cases, the marketeers are going to want to support that.
Thank you, Bobby, for spending time with the Food Institute.
Thank you.